There are two main ways that a conversation will start that will open the door for you to start talking about your business or what you're doing. And those two ways are someone asks you, what do you do? And rather than you telling them your job or something else, you want to tell them what you're doing with your business. The other way is that something is said by someone where you know your business in some form could help them out. Maybe they make a comment about their retirement account going into the tank. Maybe they talk about, not being able to get ahead in the workplace. Maybe they talk about not being able to save money for their kids' future college tuition. Or maybe you're talking to someone who's in college right now and they're worried about getting a job once they graduate a year or 2 or 3 years from now. Or maybe someone's just stuck in a dead-end job and they're kind of complaining about it or wishing there was something else to do. So those are really the two main ways, and the goal of this business personal endorsement is to teach you what to say so you can actually get someone interested and then move them on to the next step to look further into your business. Now here's the basic flow chart of how the business personal endorsement will work. If you've been through the product personal endorsement, you'll see it's almost the exact same thing. They're very similar, you're just going to talk about different things. So you can see that first box up there is how the conversation starts, the what do you do or something is said, and then you will say your short personal endorsement. And this is really anywhere from like 1 to 4 sentences about what you're doing. And this is to let the person know what you're doing, so it's like a short advertisement or to tell them what you're doing. And then if there's any interest on their end, like they ask more questions or they want to learn more, then you'll move on to the full endorsement using your full endorsement or maybe even a supporting endorsement from someone else in your company. And then if the conversation proceeds further, well, then you move on to the whole communication process. Then you start developing or introducing them, and then you'll move into the follow-up and you'll move into the close. And sometimes this whole flow chart can take place in one conversation. Sometimes those, you'll say your short personal endorsement in the conversation and it never goes any further, but the third or fourth time you talk with the person or see the person somewhere, they might say something or ask you a question, say, hey, you know what? Last time you mentioned you were doing something like this. What was the deal with that again? And then you might move into the full personal endorsement. So I broke down the steps here so you had a visual process and you kind of know where to take people, but I just want you to understand that it won't always happen the same way with every person you talk with. Sometimes it's the same conversation. Sometimes it can be spread out over days, weeks, months, over many conversations. And this is really built upon the communication training course that we have in place. That teaches you those core fundamentals about identifying personality types and those various communication steps so you know what to do in each step, the connect, the develop, the introduce, the follow-up, and the close. And this business personal endorsement will teach you what to say so you can advertise your business and generate some interest. Now, oftentimes I get asked this question, well, should I use my product personal endorsement or should I use my business personal endorsement? There's no hard and fast rule here. My best answer for you is to use your gut, based on the situation, who you're talking with, your experience, how you feel. Use the one that you think will be best for that situation or for the person you're talking with. I've been in the business for almost a decade and I still use both of mine. And as you start learning them and using them more, you'll get better at making that judgment call. But something I do recommend for a lot of new team members or new distributors in the business is if you're not sure which one to use or you're confused, default to the product personal endorsement one. And I say that because I think it's easier to do overall because you're focusing on a specific product. And if you haven't built your customer base yet of getting your 20 or so customers, you really want to make sure you are building your customer base. So ultimately, it's your call which one you want to use, But if you're not sure or you're brand new to the business, default to your product personal endorsement. And learning this business personal endorsement is so important. I have on the screen here, master the basics first, because I work with a lot of people in my own organization and people I talk with who come in for my various lead generation websites, and they talk about how they want to do this or do this presentation, this big group presentation, or put this website together or record these videos or do all this stuff. And I think it's great. I encourage that. But then I ask them a few questions and they can't succinctly and simply explain to me anything about their business or generate interest. And if you can't do that in a one-on-one situation, talking with a person, you're going to have a very hard time doing that in the presentation format in front of 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people. You'll have a hard time doing it on a website. You'll have a hard time doing it in video, and you'll have a hard time teaching your team about it. And so I really like to have everyone go through and learn this first, because this does lay the foundation for learning how to present your business in a really, really good fashion. I'm not a big fan of using the company's flip charts or their pre-made PowerPoint presentations. I find they don't work very well and they don't engage the person, and it's not personalized. Now, when you can personalize the business to you and the person or the people you're talking with, you'll have a much higher success rate. And this is one of those foundational stepping points that will allow you to do that. The second thing I mentioned, if you want to do a website down the road, which I highly recommend for anyone serious about building their business, you really need to learn to do this, because oftentimes we'll build your website, or at least build a marketing campaign around your website or a lead funnel on there around your business personal endorsement. Because if it works in person when you're talking with someone, it'll work on the internet. And if you want your team to do this, which I think we all want our team members out there using their product and their business personal endorsement with potential distributors and potential customers, you have to lead by example. If you do it, your team will do it. And finally, if you do learn how to use this business personal endorsement and present I shouldn't say present, but generate interest in your business in this format I'm showing you, you'll get a different quality of people than most network marketers do. A lot of network marketers will use these, I call them cheesy quick scripts or cheesy one-liners, like, I'm going to retire in 3 years. Want to learn how? Or, all jobs are pyramids. Want to learn a pyramid that'll make you money? Those are the two that pop in my mind. I'm sure you've probably heard a few yourself. And in the previous network marketing business, I was taught that, and I did use them a few times, and I felt completely awkward and uncomfortable doing it, and I had zero success with it. But once I started learning how to do this business personal endorsement, it felt natural to me, it felt good, I started getting results, and you'll get a different quality of people when you use it this way. A lot of times, if you do this, you'll get professionals, you'll get serious people, you'll get people who want to have success and want to achieve things in their career field. And really, those are the people we want to get into our organizations. And so a lot of times, you'll have a whole playing field open to you that other network marketers won't, because those people hear these cheesy scripts and they're like, I don't want anything to do with that. No, thank you. But if you learn how to talk about your business in the way I'll teach you in the business personal endorsement, you'll have a much higher success rate and you'll have much better people wanting to learn more information from you. And the whole goal of the business personal endorsement is to generate interest and build relationships. Now, if you've been through the product personal endorsement, that one is slightly different. We're very focused on getting a customer or sampling a product or making a product sale out of there. Well, when it comes to the business side of things, it's a different end goal. We're not just trying to sell the person a product and help them achieve their goals and use it for a while. When you get someone started in the business, you have two different things in there. One, it's usually a higher price point to start the business, anywhere from a few $100s to $1,000 or $2,000. And then you're looking for an active commitment from the person after they join the business, where when somebody becomes a customer, they're going to take the product, they might refer 1 or 2 people to you and might talk with you once in a while. But when you're getting someone to join you as a distributor or associate in your team, you want somebody who's going to be active in there. And so it will take, a financial commitment and a time commitment. So we don't have any particular goal here in getting the person signed up in the business in the initial conversation or the first or second or third conversation. That will happen naturally, and there's really no way to teach it. If you go out there and start having good conversations and you put together a really good business endorsement script and you start putting people into the communication steps, you will get people who sign up in the business with you. But I want you to focus on generating interest, and I mean by that people who are asking you questions about what you're doing or saying, that sounds interesting, so how does that work? Or what exactly do you do? If you're getting questions like that, that means you're doing a good job with this. And just building relationships. Remember, we're playing the long game here. We're not sprinting in the short term. We're playing the long game. So the more relationships you have, the better off your business will be.